Hi, so this week's column is about beauty gadgets. I've talked about various things like sonic toothbrushes and things like that. I'm obviously not going to demonstrate those for you. You know how to clean your teeth and cleanse your face and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to mainly focus on hair gadgets because in my experience hair gadgets are the most frustrating things. They just kind of offer so much, you think they're going to be life-changing, and then they just don't work properly. So the ones I featured in the column, I've deliberately featured because they're sort of almost foolproof, and they definitely make life easier, not harder. And I find with so many gadgets, they just take up room in your house and they actually sort of add time onto things. Whereas the gadgets I've chosen, the bits of kit and equipment I've chosen are all exactly the opposite of that. Now, you can see I've got heated rollers in, but I'll come to that in a second. Now, straighteners, almost every woman I know has a set of straighteners. And about probably not more than that, 5 years ago plus, suddenly they became the must-have item and everybody bought GHDs, and they're really brilliant. Things moved up a gear. Straighteners used to be really rubbish and suddenly they became ceramic and really, really hot, and that's when everything changed and everybody bought them. And now you are looking at about £100, 80 at least, for a decent pair of straighteners, set of straighteners. But it's well worth the money. What you want, the reason you want to spend money on straighteners is because you want them to get really, really, really hot. Now, people are scared of that because they assume very, very hot will damage your hair. But actually, in the long term, it doesn't, because when you have straighteners that aren't hot enough, you invariably just keep going over the same bits of hair all the time to get the desired effect, which is more damaging. If they're really, really hot, you can just sweep through your hair and it's done. Also, these days, you don't have to buy ceramics. You can get titanium ones or glass ones. These are titanium, and they're a bit less damaging on the hair than the kind of GHD ceramic type ones. These are by Coriolis. This is the C2 straightener. In my opinion, and I've tried so many, this is the best straightener that money can buy, in my opinion. They just kind of glide through so fast and your hair still feels really silky. It doesn't have that fried feeling afterwards. And of course, you all know how to use them, but as a general rule of thumb, you want to take a section that's not too thick, one that comfortably sits within the straightener, and you can clamp it. Also, you can curl your hair with a straightener, and you sort of effectively do what you would do with, you know, that tape you put on presents where you sort of string with a pair of scissors. You can sort of do that with straighteners and you get a nice curl. The other thing you can do for a curl is, of course, everybody knows about curling tongs. I hate curling tongs because I'm not a hairdresser and I think they're really hard for a normal to use. That clamp thing really, really gets in the way, and it kind of straightens it as you're trying to take it out, and it gets really, really tangled. This has a clamp like a traditional straightener, like a traditional tong rather, but this clamp goes the other way, so instead of squeezing it in, you release it really simply like that, and it comes straight out, and it's got a completely round barrel, and it has sort of non-stick. This one is by Neil Moody, and this Windle Moody Hair Salon, and this is really good if you're a bit of a dab hand. If you're not a dab hand, I've discovered this, which is the Yogi hair wand. It looks terrifying. It sort of looks a bit like a truncheon come sex toy, but it's actually brilliant. And as you'll see, it just doesn't have a clamp. It doesn't have the flat bit. It's just a barrel. So all you do, I mean, this isn't hot, but all you do is you take the hair and you just wrap it round and you hold it there for a few seconds, and there's nothing to untangle. You just take it out and you'll have a curl, which is really, really good for a sort of beachy wave. And most of them come with different heads. This is the biggest head, but you can get it comes with a really narrow one, the medium one, depending on how long your hair is. Obviously, the longer hair you have, the bigger you can go with the barrel. If it's shorter, you might want to go for a medium barrel. But my favourite gadget, apart from the Babyliss Big Hair, which you've heard me bang on about ad nauseum, so I'm not going to go on about it today, my favourite gadget at the moment are heated rollers, as you can see. The reason I love heated rollers is that you can just shove them in almost any old how. You really don't need to know what you're doing particularly while you put your makeup on. By the time you finish putting your makeup on, they've cooled right down and they're ready to take out. It's really, really important with heated rollers not to take them out when they're still hot. You have to wait for them to cool completely, because when your hair is still hot, it's still malleable. So as you take out the roller, you'll effectively be straightening your hair again. It has to be completely cool for the curl to set. The other thing you need to know about heated rollers is, again, this idea of barrel size. The bigger you go, the less of a curl you'll get, which is perfect for me because I don't want curly hair, but I do want a lot more body. And a really big heated roller, the biggest size, like this, just gives me volume and a bit of movement to my hair rather than being all kind of permy and poodleish the way the old heated rollers used to be. So all I've done is I've taken the heated rollers and I've taken sections of hair, and my God, I can't stress this enough, it doesn't have to be perfect at all because you're just adding volume and you don't want it to be some perfect kind of TV anchor woman helmet hair. Do you want it to be sort of to look real? So you get the rollers, you take the section of hair, you can curl them in or out, it doesn't really matter, you'll still get the volume. And you roll up the roller like that. They don't even come just with the pins anymore. They come with these, which couldn't be simpler. And you just kind of clamp it onto the roller, and that's how it stays in. So you do that when they're really, really, really hot, on dry hair or almost dry hair, not on wet hair, because you'll just fry your hair and it will take for ages and bits won't get dry and stuff. So you use them on dry hair or almost dry hair. Put them up after you've maybe blasted your hair with a hairdryer. Just in sections that are approximately as wide as the roller, so you're not kind of squashing things together. Put them in place, put your makeup on or make your breakfast or whatever it is, and then you wait for them to completely cool down, which should take about 15 to 20 minutes. When they've completely cooled down, this is what I do, but you know, everyone's different, I suppose, depending on how much curl you want and how lasting you want it to be. Because I've got really fine, flat hair, I need all the help I can get. So what I do, when they're completely cool, I take my elm net, which as you know is never that far away, and you just do, I haven't put my fringe in, by the way, because I like a straight fringe, but if you've got a really long fringe that you want to sort of merge with the waves, then do your fringe. I would do it under though. So I take my hairspray and I just give a light mist over the hair. And you'll notice, because I'm not a professional hairdresser, I've got all sorts of bits hanging down. It's not like neatly put in. It doesn't matter. I just want an overall bulk to the hair. I don't want everything to be all curly and nice. So it's idiot proof, honestly. Even if you're half awake, you can still do it. They're so underrated, heated rollers. I'm obsessed with them at the moment. They're so, so, so easy. So mist with some elm net, wait a few seconds to dry, and then I'm going to show you how to take them out. So I'm going to take the rollers out now, and I'm just going to do them one by one. Couldn't be simpler. Start at the bottom and at the back, just so you're not ruining bits of hair you've already taken out. And just kind of grip the roller and just sort of release it. They don't get tangled. They're too big. I use the big ones, like I say. Also, the other thing to remember is if you don't have that much time, just whack 3 into the top. Don't worry about all the underneath and everything. Just whack 3 into the top and it'll give you a really nice boost to the roots of your hair. It's like a cheats blow dry, really. It looks as though you've given yourself a proper blow dry, even if you haven't. So at this stage, as they're coming out, they sort of look quite curly, but they won't remain like that. Also, they fall, which is where the elm net comes in handy. The curls will fall. So if you want to keep them in, maybe just give yourself a bit more hairspray. Can't see myself. I think they've all gone. Okay, then what you do, when you're satisfied they're all out and your hair's completely cool, is you start just raking your fingers through the hair. Don't brush, don't comb, just get your fingers and just rake them through to separate the curls, and that will straighten things as you go. So I've raked my fingers through my hair to separate the curl. I haven't smoothed them down too much because I prefer more of a kind of vintagey, unkempt sort of wave look. But if you want them to be smoother, you can of course take a ceramic barrel brush and just sort of smooth the curls that way. That's fine. I just prefer this sort of look. So once you're happy, you can play around with the style with your fingers and twirl bits around your fingers if you want some extra curl here and there. Once you're happy, you take your L-net or whatever hairspray you like using, and you just do a fine mist all over your hair. And then when it's dry, it should last you all day, because that heat has been applied and it's cooled down. The moment things cool down, they obviously set. The other thing that I wanted to mention about heated rollers is they're so cheap, considering that a good set of hair straighteners or tongs is now kind of 80 to 100 quid or something. Heated rollers are about 30 quid. I don't think they're very popular or cool, so they're still at a really low price bracket. I think mainly they're bought by grannies and glamour models and things, and people don't realise how terrifically easy and useful they are. They're a bit bulky, that's the only thing, but if you just keep them plugged in somewhere out the way, then you can just do them in the morning. They are so simple. You are literally talking about a 15-minute job, and they are such a cheap way to get some volume in your hair. So give it a go, or try one of the other gadgets, and let me know in the comments section what your favourite gadgets are and how you got on. Thanks a lot. Bye.